Austin has seen explosive growth and consistently ranks as the fastest growing major metros in the nation. Thousands of new residents move here every year, but many people are blindsided by things they could have easily predicted before deciding to move. In today's video, I'm going to cover 12 facts you need to know before moving to the great city of Austin, Texas. I'm Nick Garcia, and I know Central Texas inside and out. I love it here. I know all the suburbs. I live at the west of Austin in the Westlake area, and I help people relocate to the Austin area every day, and I make the process as easy as possible. Austin can be a pretty easy sell for a lot of people. We have an incredibly vibrant culture, live music everywhere, great food, and like the rest of Texas, we don't have a state income tax. It's also a great place to be an entrepreneur with plenty of opportunities and people to talk to. Austin has a booming technology sector, often called Silicon Hills. Major employers are here like Tesla, Apple, Dell, and they offer thousands of job opportunities and more companies moving every day. Tens of thousands of people relocate to the Austin metro every single year. This area is booming. So let's get into it. Fact number 12, zoning and land use changes. Austin has zoning unlike Houston, but the city is constantly rewriting its land development code and increasing density. Here's a common example. Someone buys a home in a quiet neighborhood because they think they're moving into a peaceful area. 2 years later, zoning changes allow multifamily housing or commercial development right down the street. And that can completely change the feel and the vibes of that neighborhood. Land use in Austin is dynamic, so you just need to have your radar up and be careful. You can't control everything happening around your property as the city pushes for more density. Like if you want acreage, you should consider a community where the surrounding land is better protected. That might mean you having to move further out into the hill country. Otherwise, you can't control what could be rezoned or redeveloped around you. But you can, do some research, have a good agent helping you. The neighborhood doesn't necessarily have to remain the way it looks today. Change is good sometimes. And it's very important to consider that before purchasing a home and property. Fact number 11. The size and the overall suburban sprawl. Austin itself might seem compact, but the metro area is sprawling. You can live in South Austin and meet a friend for dinner in Georgetown, and that drive will take you over an hour. The metro area is huge and very spread out. So quick tip, if you're driving, shopping around, you need to plan carefully if you're visiting Austin to explore neighborhoods and suburbs. For example, Georgetown and Lakeway, they're an hour apart. Some people think that they can quickly run from one suburb to another, but those drives take time. So you need to spend time in each area to understand what living there would actually feel like, especially if you have to commute. I highly recommend doing your research and narrowing down your preferred suburbs before touring homes. Maybe you decide you want to live in Cedar Creek. Maybe you fall in love with Round Rock. Maybe you want to live near the Georgetown Square. And maybe you end up landing in Liberty Hill. Those are all kind of in the same area. But whatever you're looking for, identify the suburbs that best fit your life and lifestyle. And if you don't know yet, spend a few days driving around and exploring. It's fun. Get to know the city. Otherwise, you're definitely going to feel overwhelmed because there are so many great places to live out here. And really, you can't go wrong. Fact number 10, the builder trap. A huge percentage of current home sales are new construction homes, especially right now in this market. New construction can be really fabulous, right? And it's what many of my clients end up choosing. But you need to understand that the builder sales representative works for who? Yes, the builder. Their job is to get the builder the quickest closing at the highest possible price. They're kind of like a seller. So they're not there to protect you and your interests. So you don't want to fall into the builder trap. If you don't know what other buyers paid for comparable homes, you won't know if you're getting a good deal or getting ripped off. The sales rep probably isn't going to volunteer every single detail because their job is to get the best deal for the builder. They'll probably get a bonus. So it's important to hire someone who knows how to analyze all of the numbers. Your agent might discover that another buyer paid $550,000, but also received $20,000 toward closing costs. So if you aren't asking for similar incentives, you're leaving money on the table. But don't walk into a model home, fall in love, and assume that your finished home will look exactly the same. Because in a lot of cases, model homes can contain hundreds of thousands of dollars in upgrades. And your home probably isn't going to look like the model unless you're willing to pay for those upgrades, which is a typical thing in a builder's contract. Builders design model homes to make you fall in love. The experience can be, and a lot of times is, very different when it's time to choose the finishes of your actual home that you're buying. Builder upgrade markups can also be extremely higher than market. Some builders will charge a fortune just to change the color of the hardware. So it's important that you need to understand the numbers before you arrive and avoid falling into that builder trap. The builder is also going to pay an agent's commission regardless. Good builders already have the buyer agent commission built into their pricing. So you generally won't receive a lower price by walking into the model home without an agent. That commission usually comes from a completely different budget. As I mentioned, it's already baked in. So if you're considering moving to Austin, fill out some forms below, get in touch, and download my relocation guide, which helps kind of narrow down the suburbs. I explain some of the lifestyle, restaurants, shopping, everything and in between. You can also schedule a Zoom meeting or phone call and discuss how I can help you and with your move to the Austin area. Let's move on. Fact number 9, the school district gamble. So the TEA, Texas Education Agency, ranks public schools across the state. Some school districts have excellent overall ratings, but that doesn't mean every school within that district is highly rated. So you need to research the specific schools assigned to a property, not just a district. Example, a lot of people tell me they want to live in Leander ISD or Round Rock ISD. But school boundaries can change as new neighborhoods are developed. So you can live across the street from someone whose children attend a completely different school. Yes, it's that much of a difference. Unless school offers open enrollment, you can't simply drive your child to the highest rated school in the district. The school information in the MLS isn't always correct. That's another red flag there. Zillow school information isn't always correct either. I have clients tell me this all the time. So you need to verify the elementary, middle, and high schools assigned to the property. And this can matter even if you don't have children. It can still affect resale value because many future buyers want homes zoned to highly rated schools. Fact number 8, the isolation reality. So if you've lived in California, New York your entire life, and your whole family is there, you need to be certain that you're ready to leave them behind. Many people move here, make new friends, and they love it. But they no longer have the same neighborhood coffee shop they visited for the past 8 years. So, in a lot of cases, life is going to look very different. I found that most people who move back home do so because of family. So unless you're relocating for work and you don't have a choice, think carefully about leaving your family and everything familiar to you. That being said, Austin, it has many amazing family-friendly neighborhoods. So if you move into a master plan community with children, they'll probably have neighborhood kids knocking on the door and asking them to play within the next week. They might join the same soccer teams, attend local festivals, swim at the community pool, and eat at the neighborhood food trucks. This is a really fun way to raise children. But, if your family isn't moving with you, you need to be confident that you're ready to build a completely new life here. Some people relocate and never establish a social circle, which can leave them feeling a little bit isolated. So you'll definitely need a car for most parts of the Austin area to get around. Outside of downtown, walking everywhere just isn't practical for the most part. You need reliable transportation and a plan for meeting people. Obvious things like could mean joining a gym or a church. It could mean participating in a neighborhood club or meeting other parents through your children's sport teams, which is one of the ways that I meet new parents. Whatever works for you, and make a plan to build a social circle and get involved. That's extremely important when making a big move because everything matters. Fact number 7, traffic and the commute grind. This one is one of my least favorite things about Austin. One of the first things I ask someone is why they're moving here and where they need to commute for work. So you probably don't want to work in downtown Austin and live all the way out in Georgetown, although I know a lot of people that do that. That commute will be a little far for most people. You'll quickly become frustrated with driving an hour or an hour and a half just each way. I-35 and Mopac can be nightmares during rush hour. Always check potential commute times during the hours when you'll actually be driving. So a 20-mile commute could take an hour and a half at 5 o'clock. But don't let Austin's long commute surprise you. Austin frequently ranks as the Texas city's worst traffic congestion area. But the big tip is you need to plan around your lifestyle and commute. So if you work from home, this might not be an issue. because you can avoid traveling during the rush hour times. But if you commute once or twice a week, choose a neighborhood that makes that drive more manageable. You don't want your commute just completely wearing you down over time, because I've heard stories about this. So check the drive during rush hour before committing to a house, because you're probably not going to be looking at houses during that time. Fact number 6 is a big one: property tax trap. Property tax rates around Austin can be as low as at approximately 1.7%, but they can also get up to 2.5 or even 3%. Rates are often higher in newer master plan communities. So if you buy a $600,000 home with the 2.5% tax rate, that's $15,000 a year in property taxes. Texas does offer homestead exemptions that reduce the taxable value for part of your tax bill, which is good. Additional exemptions may be available for homeowners over 65. Now, these exemptions can help, but don't forget you need to apply for them. I help all of my clients understand that process after closing. So you must account for property taxes when calculating your monthly housing expenses, because they can really affect that monthly mortgage. I've spoken with many people moving from New York, California, Chicago who pay large amounts in state income taxes. Not having a state income tax can work in your favor in Texas, but that property tax, you can still have a property tax bill exceeding $1,000 per month. So you need to include that amount into your budget before deciding where to move. Property tax rates in newer communities may decrease over time, but you can't count on anything like that. So many of these communities have municipal utility districts, commonly called MUDs. The MUD helps fund infrastructure for the development and is paid down over time. Property taxes may decrease as the MUD debt is paid, but that process can take 10 to 15 years. Keep that in mind when purchasing a home. Many master plan communities also include amenities such as pools and fitness centers, and those amenities might replace other memberships or expenses, which can help kind of balance out the budget and those higher taxes. We need to talk more about the MUD. So the MUD tax is the next one. So many newer Austin suburbs include the MUD tax within the property tax rate, the overall. So let's say the total tax rate is 2.8%. A portion of that rate may be paying down that MUD debt. Some listings might not clearly include the MUD assessment in the advertised tax information. So a lot of buyers are surprised when they see the full tax bill later. So you need to carefully verify the property's taxes complete rate, including any MUD taxes. Fact number 4, experiencing this right now, the heat. It's the end. Right now it's end of July, super hot, gets really hot starting in June into August. All of Texas is hot during the summer. But Austin has slightly drier heat than Houston, so evenings can feel somewhat cooler and less humid. It's still humid in Austin, don't get me wrong. But Austin, overall, it gets extremely hot. So we've had summers with more than 70 days of temperatures reaching at least 100 degrees. It's brutal. During the summer, we spend a lot of time at the pool and Lake Austin. You also visit neighborhood pools and go paddleboarding, things like that. There are plenty of ways to enjoy the outdoors and stay cool. But don't fool yourself into thinking Austin doesn't get hot. Texas is hot in the summer. Dallas is hot. Houston is hot. Austin is no exception. Super hot here. Have I mentioned that Austin is hot? And if you love the hill country views and an outdoor lifestyle, Austin may still be a really great fit. Just make sure you're prepared for the heat before committing to the move. But other than that, we got like 4 or 5 brutal months, and then it gets nice. Fact number 3, the flood risk nobody told you about, and we've had some experiences recently that really shed light on this. So Central Texas is known as Flash Flood Alley. So you need to review FEMA flood maps before purchasing a home. Creeks and rivers run through the hill country, and low-lying areas can flood quickly. I personally wouldn't buy a home in a floodplain because there are so many properties available outside of one. Every area has low-lying spots where water flows down from the hills. So you need to understand the property's elevation, drainage, and proximity to waterways. Super important. There's plenty of great homes outside of designated floodplains. There's usually no reason to take that risk unless you don't really care about it. Fact number 2, power grid vulnerability. Most of Texas operates on the ERCOT power grid. So during major winter storms, some residents can lose powers for days. So we saw that happen several years ago, and it was a complete disaster. Some Austin neighborhoods receive electricity from Austin Energy. Many suburbs are served by Perdonalis Electric Cooperative or other smaller providers. But most of those systems are still connect to the larger Texas grid. So, that can lead to some problems. So there are a couple ways to prepare for outages. You could look for a neighborhood connected to a critical circuit serving something like a hospital or fire station. Homes on those circuits are less likely to lose power. You could also purchase a generator for backup power, which is what I did. We recently had an ice storm that brought down trees and power lines throughout the area. It was crazy. So you need to understand your home's backup options and decide whether you need a generator, but it's always good to have one just in case. Major outages aren't an everyday occurrence, but when they happen, they can be a real serious problem. So make sure you know who provides electricity to your home and what your backup plan will be. Lastly, fact number 1, crime rates. People often send me listings and they say they can't believe how cheap the homes are. As real estate agents, we aren't allowed to steer buyers toward or away from specific neighborhoods. We can't even tell you what the crime rate is, but what we can tell you is to check the local crime map, which is what I send to all of my buyer clients. Austin's crime patterns have changed as the city has grown, which inevitably, right? So you need to research what's happening around any property you're considering. It's really easy to find this information. Some neighborhoods have very inexpensive homes, but they might not be the areas where I would personally buy. So you need to investigate the neighborhood and decide whether you feel comfortable living there. Suburbs such as Cedar Park and Round Rock are generally considered very safe. You can check that out. The most common issue I hear about is someone leaving a laptop in a vehicle and having it stolen. This happens everywhere. I've rarely heard about home intrusions from clients or even in the news, but these incidents obviously can happen anywhere. I'm not ignoring the fact that crime can increase as Austin grows into a larger city. So check the crime map. Make sure that you feel safe and confident about your decision. Hey, that's all I got for you today. Appreciate you watching. I know that was a lot of information, but hopefully it helped. These are 12 things you need to understand before relocating to Austin. Obviously, there's more, which we get into in conversations. And I would ultimately love the opportunity to help you with your move. Call me during the day, call me at night or in the weekend. I'm always available for a quick conversation. Download my relocation guide. You can just schedule a meeting with me. I have my calendar set up there where you can just schedule a call or a Zoom link or whatever. If you want to look at a house, if you're, we can do a virtual tour, whatever you want. Just all my contact info is below, and we'll be in touch soon. And hope you have a blessed day and appreciate you watching.